Before starting this step, determine what side you want your handrail mounted on. Make sure to leave the holes marked in the instruction manual open on the opposite side from the side you want your handrail mounted on, as you will be assembling the steps upside down. To start, lay the side rails out upside down. Both angled cuts will be facing up. Align your steps with the underside of the step facing up and the 3-hole edge angled up. Take the 1 3/4 bolts from bag A and insert them from the outside of the rail into the steps and put the washer and nut. And we're going to repeat this process. We wanted our handrail on the left-hand side, so as we start inserting our bolts on the right-hand side of our upside-down ladder, we're going to make sure to leave these holes open on the top and bottom steps. When you flip the ladder over to put the handrail on, these open holes will be on the desired side. And we're going to repeat this process on the other side. After inserting the bolts into all of the steps, tighten the bolts using the 5/32 Allen wrench and 7/16 flat wrench. We are using a ratchet wrench to expedite this step. Before attaching the corner plates, note that there are 2 different length bolts in bag B. We will be using the shorter 1-inch bolts for the corner plate. When attaching the corner plates, align the shorter edge to the inside face of the side rail and insert the bolts from the outside. And we're going to repeat this process on the other side. Then, use the 7/32 Allen wrench to tighten all of the bolts. Repeat the same process to attach the upper rails. To attach the spring housing assembly, make sure that the flange with 3 holes is pointing down. Align the plate to the inside face of the upper rail with the housing facing out and use the 1 1/4 inch bolts to attach. Once you've inserted all of the bolts, use the 7/32 Allen wrench to tighten them all down. Now that your handrail is assembled, flip your ladder over so that the tops of the steps are now facing up, and ensure that your open holes are on the correct side. Now attach your handrail to your ladder using the hardware from bag C. Putting the longer 3.5 inch bolts through the handrail, rail, and step, make sure to put the washer on the outside of the handrail. Then, use the 5/32 Allen wrench and 7/16 flat wrench to tighten all of the bolts. Next, decide where on your dock you want to mount your ladder. Using the drawings in the instruction manual, determine which method you will need to use. Remove any boards necessary to gain access to the underside of your decking if needed for your method. Line the ladder up in the location you want, mark the front of the spring housings 8.5 inches from the edge of your dock, and exclude any bumper overhang, as you will trim that out of the way later. Drill the front holes with the ladder in place using the 5/16 drill bit. If you have a 1/2 inch drill bit, mark your rear holes with the ladder in place. Remove the ladder and drill the rear holes with a 1/2 inch drill bit. The extra space will make it easier to align your lags with the backer plate. If you only have a 3/8 drill bit, leave your ladder in place. Put the short lags in the front hole, then drill the outer holes with the 3/8 drill bit first. Next, insert your backing plate under your decking and align with your outer lags. Get the lags started into the backer plate, but do not fully tighten them. Other methods may allow you to lag directly into the subframe of your dock. Lower your ladder into the down position, but do not put any weight on it. While the ladder is in the down position, drill and insert the center and inner rear lags. With the ladder down, fully tighten all rear lags. This will ensure that the spring housings self-align. And we're going to repeat this process on the other side. You may have to partially back the lag out and drive it back in, or use a ratchet wrench to push through tough material. Next, align the dock handrail rear hole with the 2 rear holes in the spring housing so that its lag will hit the backer plate. We suggest leaving room to access the spring housings in case any maintenance should need to be done. Drill both holes in the dock handrail, making sure that the rear hole goes all the way through the backer plate. Insert the short lag into the front hole and the long lag into the rear hole. And we're going to repeat this process on the other side. With all lags fully tightened, cycle your ladder a couple times to ensure that everything operates smoothly. Now that you've verified your ladder is working properly, lower the ladder down and use a pencil to mark the edge of the upper rail where your edge bumper will need to be trimmed. Raise your ladder back up and use a razor blade to trim the P-bumper all the way through. Determine which side of your ladder you want your latch to go on. Remove the lower bolt closest to the lake out of the upper rail on that side of the ladder. Take the retention pin and run it from the inside of the ladder to the outside of the ladder through this open hole. Slide the latch plate over the end of the pin, leaving enough room for other bolts to clear. Shift the latch plate on the pin closer or further away from the water as needed so that the screws will hit the metal substructure of your dock. Use a pencil to mark the edges of the latch plate where the edge bumper will need to be trimmed. Remove the latch plate and use a razor blade to trim the edge bumper. Replace the latch plate and use an 11/64 drill bit to drill the holes. Then insert the provided war-coated screws. Make sure these screws go into metal. Reinsert your retention pin from the outside inward and use the provided 1-inch wood screw and countersunk washer to attach the tether to a convenient location.